I'm so excited for the people that are on this call today because I like to say this is sort of like the incoming class of 2021.
Yeah.
He gets to know.
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue. We're just about right at the time to go ahead and get started. So I'd like to go ahead and say hello to everybody who's joined us. Thank you so much for jumping on the Zoom call with Jean-Marie and myself. We really appreciate you joining us today. I think we have most of our RSVPs here with us today, so we'll go ahead and get started. I am Katie O'Brien, and I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing here at the Admiral at the Lake. And just to introduce the session today, we are going to start with this, I'll do an introduction to Jean-Marie, and then we'll have she's going to talk and give her insights into the real estate market. She's really looking for a conversation, so her remarks will be short, and we can do some Q&A during it, but we'll keep that to around the 20 minutes and then have a Q&A, and then we'll roll into a wrap up. So this really is according to our attendees, however direction we want to take it. Please feel free to use the chat button and ask any questions. We also have some people who have sent in some questions in advance too. So many of you may most likely have already met Jean-Marie at a previous event at the Admiral. She's a regular speaker here with her real estate expertise and with us, and also helping clients with every aspect of the real estate process. Jean-Marie has been a real estate agent since 2002, and she's also a managing broker. She's a second-generation realtor in a family of realtors. It sounds like before her and after her, she mentions an upcoming grandson who might become a realtor. And she also has earned the designation as a seniors real estate specialist, and she has a strong reputation in the senior market, and we really appreciate her sharing her expertise with us. She has also earned the 5-Star Real Estate Agent Award multiple times. An interesting fact about Jean-Marie is she's professionally trained opera singer. She's traveled and lived throughout the country and international in cities including Munich, London, Florence, Boston, and New York. And in Chicago, she's performed with the Lyric Opera and the Chicago Opera Theater and many more. And reading that, I got a little jealous. I would love to have lived in London and Florence and Boston. So her geographic and cultural experience, plus her expertise in all things Chicago, Jean-Marie applies her deep knowledge of real estate to every relationship. We're very pleased to welcome Jean-Marie Minton to provide us with a snapshot of the current real estate market and selling during COVID. Welcome, Jean-Marie.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction, Katie. Yeah, all that you talked about. Yes, I am a family of realtors. Both my adult daughters are realtors, as is my son-in-law, and as you said, I come from a different background of the arts, and I landed in Chicago and realized it's the most beautiful of American cities, and I still believe that very strongly when I've talked about looking out at the lake. And to live along the lakefront, the largest bodies of water and fresh water in the world is such a fabulous opportunity that we have here in Chicago. So as you said, I'd like today to be more of a conversation specifically geared to what is top of mind with our guests today. Right, I understand that those of you who have taken the time to be on this call, thank you for joining us. I understand there's an incentive program here at the Admiral where you can, called the 2020 Savings Program, where if you choose an apartment before the end of this year, you'll get 6 months free. That's a heck of a deal. So my desire is to talk through what the process is of potentially taking advantage of that situation and selling your own homes, right? Because that is really always the conundrum, is how to move forward. So I'll make this very simple. I'll make my comments brief, because this is what, a 20-minute call. We can get a lot accomplished in this time. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them, and I really would welcome that. But I'd like to sort of frame this conversation, because we have people from many different zip codes that are on this call. So it's not specifically right now at this point about how things are selling in your zip code, so to speak, but rather how you are going to accomplish what you personally want to accomplish. Everybody has different goals. We're all here together because you see yourself living here along the lake at the Admiral. So let me share with you. I say there are four things, the 4 Ds, what one wants to do to move forward. Whatever we do, we always want to decide what we're going to do. So there are 4 Ds. I'll speak them to you very clearly. We want to decide, determine, delegate, and delight. So the first thing we do in moving forward is decide to start a new chapter. Those of us that are at this time in our lives, and I'm in my 60s, we decide what we're going to do next. Just like when we start a trip, we choose to go on a cruise, we decide, and then we fill in the details after. So the first step is to make the decision to move forward. Now, in deciding, you decide to start a new chapter, the next thing you do is determine, okay, what are the important parts that I have to deal with? What are your greatest concerns in having made this decision? If you're deciding that you want to move from your home, whether it's a condo or a single family home, and you're looking to move to the Admiral, what are your greatest concerns about that process, that project? Is it pricing? Is it, as I've heard, how long it will take for the property to be on the market? Let's look at just that section about determining your greatest concerns. And this is where I'd like to hear from people, because right now we're hearing great things about this real estate market that we're in. Let me speak very specifically. The interest rates are at 3% or lower. I've seen a 15-year, 30-year at 2.875. What we're finding right now, let me share with you that right now buyers are looking for inventory, and there just doesn't seem to be enough. So for those of you that are wondering how you can sell your home, let me share with you that right now the buyers are out there in the market, and there's not enough for them to choose from. So your first job in determining how you're going to move forward is to put your team together. And in putting your team together, the first person you're talking to, actually, if you've spoken to people at the Admiral already, the next person you're going to be talking to probably is a realtor. Because a realtor is going to help you with this, I'm going to call it this project of closing one chapter and starting another. So you find out your greatest concerns, and the question we always ask, we realtors, so I represent a whole range of people who are out here to help people make very good decisions. And the question I always ask is, what is your greatest concern, and who is helping you with that concern? So we decide to move forward, we determine the greatest concerns, and then we delegate. It's very important to understand that as you're going through this, what for many is a significant life change, a significant move forward, is that you are not in this alone. I think that is one of the biggest mind shifts for, again, I'm going to say those of us at this stage of life. We have probably, if you're looking to come to the Admiral, you're very successful, you're very competent, you've accomplished a lot in your life, and you've probably done a lot of it yourself because you're self-starters. I'm going to say that it is truly imperative that you understand that you want to be able to delegate different parts of this project to different professionals, if you will. And the fourth D, after decide, determine, delegate, is to delight. At the end of this process, at the end of this project, when you're finally here at the Admiral, you will be able to delight in what you've accomplished and relax, because right now I can certainly understand this is not a relaxing time for you. So I see a question here. Are condos or single family homes doing better right now? Can I take a little time and answer this question? Right now, it really depends on the area. Because single family homes are very desirable for some. Let me speak very frankly. Here in Chicago, obviously, we have gone through some challenging times right now. We're in a pandemic. We have a real estate market that's going absolutely crazy, and we have our own challenges in Chicago. All that said, there are many people looking to take advantage of low interest rates. The low interest rates are absolutely driving this market. Properties sell at a price. Right now, there are many people that are looking for properties in the suburbs. And yet, there are many people here in the city that were living in small condos or apartments. Let's say the people that are were living in apartments, they're looking to buy condos. People that are in smaller condos are looking to upgrade to bigger condos, because there will always be a segment of the population that simply doesn't want single family home living. So when you ask me, are condos or single family homes doing better right now? It always depends. I hope that doesn't sound like I'm wishy-washy, but it really always depends. Here's another question. How are properties doing in the riot areas? It's interesting. I just spoke to a realtor yesterday. He was selling some condos in the South Loop. Well, here's what's interesting. The South Loop is challenged right now because of the unrest that we've seen over the last couple of months. And yet, he just put something in the under contract with a couple that was moving in from out of state. You see, there will always be somebody out there who wants your property. I think that's what I want to leave. I really want to make that impression. When properties are priced well and in wonderful condition, there will always be somebody for that property. On the alternative, if a property is not in the best condition and it's priced to reflect that, there will be somebody who is interested in that property. I think we all want to know that we do have control over the property and how we present it to the public. Here's another question. Are you doing open houses and showings, or is it all virtual? You know, it's really a matter of teamwork here. Remember when I said when you delegate, you choose your team? Who you choose to help you on this project should ask you, and you should ask them, how do you work? There are some folks that they just want people coming through. They're fine with people coming through and seeing properties. I've been on certain showings recently with some buyers where it was back to back to back buyers coming through a house on a Saturday morning. Virtual, but then there are people who will buy things virtually without any problem, and it really depends on what the pictures look like. If their agent comes through and does a virtual tour, I would say there is no one way right now. In fact, what's really fabulous about this pandemic situation is that we have really expanded how we sell property. Here's another question. If I'm not getting any showings, should I consider switching agents? That's a great question. When you sit down with an agent, you want to ask them what their track record has been in the last year, right? What's their track record? How many properties have they sold? What is their list to sales price ratio? How many days are their properties on the market? How they market, how do they prepare homes? So I'm not going to say that you should switch agents if you're not getting offers, but here is the rule of thumb, and it really depends again at what price point you're looking at. A good agent will be able to share with you how many days on market, certain price point, certain properties sell at certain price point. And then, I just lost my thought here. It also, at least from my perspective, is a team effort. The agent's not the boss. Really, the seller is the boss. The seller hires the agent. And while the agent comes in with their expertise, the seller and the agent should be working together as a team to make this happen. So here's another question. Average days on market. Are there a lot of home sale contingencies now? Home sale contingency, let me explain that. So if a buyer comes and wants to purchase a home, they say, we'll buy this home, but we have to sell our home first. This is a very competitive market at certain price points and for homes in certain conditions. If your home is priced so that you appear to be of great value to the buyer in the market, you are more likely to get multiple offers. That is the desire of an agent, is to get their seller more than one offer so that the seller has more negotiating power, if you will. We are not seeing too many home sale contingencies because of the number of people that are fighting for the small number of homes on the market. Does that answer the question? And again, average days on market, it really depends. When you sit down with your agent, you want a very zip code specific analysis of what has been going on in the last 6 months. Let me just share that appraisers, when they are looking at value, because unless somebody is paying cash for your home, the appraiser is the ultimate determiner of value. And the appraiser is going to come in and look in the rearview mirror at the activity in that area for the last 6 months. Interestingly enough, I just spoke with an appraiser who said that right now, they are also looking at the very hot market that we're in to help also determine value. So the fact is that because there's limited inventory, that will add to value of at certain price points. Here's another question. Do I need a stager for my apartment or house? Well, let me ask you, if you're selling your Porsche, if you're selling your Mercedes, will you get it detailed before you put it on the market? Most likely, yes. Absolutely, absolutely, you want to stage your house. What does that mean? And I spoke about this last summer. You absolutely want to hire, your agent should be able to bring in stagers, and that's part of your delegation. You know, you're part of your delegation, right? Is your realtor, your stager, the person who comes in and helps you make decisions on what you want to keep and what you want to give away. That is not necessarily the stager, by the way. That could be the move manager, or that could be a family member, if you will. Remember, when you're doing this project, you are going to be assembling a team of people that are going to help you. Here's a question. What percentage of clients are sellers and how many are buyers? Very interestingly, I've always had, in my business, pretty evenly split, 50% sellers, 50% buyers. This year, I switched to working with sellers more because I saw the shift in the market. And because I work primarily in the seniors market, that is to say, I work with very elderly folks, or I work with younger folks who are helping their parents move. So the bulk of my work seems to be more in this seniors market, which is why I have my designation, and I'm really focused on that. Because why? Because I realize people need a patient realtor and somebody who is going to really help in what can be a very exhausting, intimidating, confusing time of life, to shift from a home you've lived in for 30, 40, 50 years and move and completely create a new lifestyle for yourself. What type of new sales tools are realtors using to sell homes is another question. Well, Zoom is our new friend. Do you just love this Zoom call? I just think it's great because we're much more efficient now. When we have new clients to meet, I will sit down with people on a Zoom call. I will send them a packet of information explaining about me and my team. And then we will sit down on a Zoom call, and I will just get to know them and go over things with them. I can walk through the house either personally, and I'm fine doing that. I take my shoes off or wear booties, and I wear a mask and they wear a mask. Or they can walk me through virtually. But of course, I prefer to walk through actually, if you will. But Zoom has been a wonderful game changer for all of us in the industry. Another really important thing that maybe not enough agents used before, and that would be just using virtual tours, floor plans, things like that can give people a really strong idea of what your house looks like without them having to come in until they're very ready. Now, let's see, it's just about time to wrap up. So I'm going to switch it over to Katie. Are you there, Katie?
I'm back. Yeah, so could you go over the D's one more time? I think that's really a great way to think of the process.
First, decide to start a new chapter of life. Next, determine your greatest concerns in this process that you'll be undertaking. Then delegate. Who is going to take care of different parts of this project, if you will. And then number 4, this is when we get to relax. Delight. After it's all said and done, be proud of what you've accomplished. Relax and really delight in the journey that you're about to embark on.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Jean-Marie. We Appreciate you taking the questions as you did. And you mentioned Delight. I regularly meet with the new residents and people who've lived here for 5, 8 years. People who've lived here are just moving in, and they often talk about how relieved they are to have made the move, how they've met wonderful new friends. They wish they would have done it earlier, but it's just really that I love that you bring in the Delight part, because so oftentimes we're focused on as they're making decisions and as we're going through the process of transitioning. I've made the move myself a few times. It can be difficult, but to really focus on the end game of where you're going to be, moving to, and we've talked about the view of the lake and and being part of what's happening in the city. So I love that you end with the Delight part. That's beautiful.
Life is short, and we want to live in community. I think that this opportunity to live at the Admiral is a wonderful way to enjoy the fruits of your labors, meet up with like-minded people that you might not have met otherwise. I really meant it when I said this is the incoming class of 2021, kind of like going off to college. You're suddenly going to be in an environment where people have chosen to be there, and you'll have so much in common, and there's so much more to uncover.
Thank you.
There's one last question. Did you see that, Katie? Did you? Yeah, here we go. Now, this is a question. If I'm not yet ready to sell and move to somewhere like the Admiral, should I consider hiring an appraiser myself to learn what weaknesses my home has, what I should look at fixing? And this sounds self-serving, and I don't mean this to be this way, you want to speak to a realtor, because a realtor, a good one, will be able to walk through with an objective eye, see the place through like the eyes of a buyer, and then also and then they could bring in an appraiser for you. I spoke to an appraiser recently who said, I shared with you, they're looking at the last 6 months, and they're looking at how active the market is right now. So I think, yes, you should consider not hiring an appraiser first, but speaking to a realtor first who focuses on this type of move, working with seniors.
Great. Thank you. So as you were looking to make that decision, as Jean-Marie mentioned early in the Zoom call, we do have a 2020 savings program that we are offering that includes 6 free months if you close before the end of 2020. And we welcome you to come to the Admiral or contact us to see our available apartments, to learn more about the savings program, or simply if you have questions you'd like to learn more about. And then on the Delegate, we have our next master class. We have Marnie Dawson joining us, and she will be doing a downsizing and moving safely during COVID panel, our presentation, and it's titled Gain Clarity and Insight from Downsizing Expert Marnie Dawson on how to move safely during COVID. So as you're back, once the decision and looking at delegating, she's a wonderful resource that we work with in helping with that transition. So again, thank you all for being with us. Jean-Marie, thank you so much for sharing your insights and expertise with us. It was great to see you today. And again, we thank everybody for jumping on the call, and give us a call if you have any questions and follow up today's presentation. This presentation was also recorded and will be available on our website as well if there's parts of it you'd like to go back to. So thank you for joining us, and everybody have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.